The Business Breakfast. It is 8 minutes to 7.
Currencies on Dubai Eye 103.8.
With insurancemarket.ae.
It is the 78th Independence Day being celebrated not just in India but by the Indian diaspora around the world. And to that end, we, of course, look at the Indian rupee, witnessing range-bound trading, settling for the day on a flat note at 83.97 against the US dollar last night. I'm assuming markets are going to be closed today because of Independence Day. What are the analysts looking at? Domestic market surging, crude prices weighing on investor sentiments at present. So, close of play, Indian rupee 83.97 against the US dollar. And what does that mean about you and the Emirati dirham? The Emirati dirham, one Emirati dirham buying you 22.86 Indian rupees.
Yo, it's Alfred. You see? Insurancemarket.ae. Car, health, home life, travels and business too. 20,000 reviews, we got the crew. Claims, commitment, we're by your side. 800 Alfred will be your guide. Insurancemarket.ae.
This is the Business Breakfast on the UAE's #1 talk radio station.
Dubai Eye 103.8.
Celebrations around the world on the occasion of the Indian Independence Day. It's the 78th occasion of Indian independence being celebrated, not just in the country, but as I said, by Indian expats the world over. And a good opportunity, therefore, for us to look at the Indian economy as it stands. I've just been talking there about the Indian rupee. It's had a tough time against the US dollar in the last couple of weeks, in fact, last couple of months as well, but holding steady, as we said, in the markets at present. But what does that indicate of the economy as a whole? Let's get the more now from the Professor of Economics at the Indian Institute of Management, the IIM in Kozhikode in Kerala, who joins us now live this morning. Professor Rudra Sensama. We start, Professor Sensama, by saying Happy Independence to you.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
So let's start with a look at the Indian economy, which has grown at 8.2% in the financial year to date, 2023 to 2024. So that therefore means it's still the fastest growing major economy out there at the moment, which would therefore suggest, Professor Sensama, that the future looks bright.
On the happy occasion of India's Independence Day, it's very heartening to reiterate that number. 8.2% GDP growth is just phenomenal. And I'll just tell you quickly that this growth comes on the back of good quality expansion in economic activities. Private investments grew at 9%. On the production side, the manufacturing sector grew at 10%, which means this is good quality growth, building the foundations for long-term growth and prosperity. You asked about future prospects. The government of India is targeting 2047 as the year when India will move into the rank of high-income economies in the world. So that would be at the 100th year of India's independence. My calculations say that India will reach there a few years before 2047. So I think India is on the right track. The demographic dividend is still strong. It will peak out in 2040s, but the foundations in terms of technology, innovation, education, healthcare, and most importantly, infrastructure are being laid out as we speak.
We've been talking inflation and interest rates from the UK, the US and otherwise this morning. Inflation rates have come down a little, certainly during the summer over in India. Where are we at when it comes to inflation rates and potential interest rate cuts anytime soon?
Yeah, look, when you have a economy growing at this scorching pace, there is bound to be some inflation concerns. But the good thing about India's economic growth is supply conditions are easing out. Productivity of the economy is rising, which is helping the inflation to stay in control. And the Central Bank of India, that's the Reserve Bank of India, has been holding a tight monetary policy since the past couple of years, which has helped disinflation, that is the rate of inflation, to come down now. The latest number shows consumer price inflation of 3.5%, which is below the central bank's target of 4%. Now, going forward, I think the central bank's policy will be data driven. We are right now in monsoon in India. So the consumer prices in India depend on food prices a lot. So the monsoon seems to have started well. If it progresses well, then food prices will be softer. So the inflation will stay down. And that will give Reserve Bank of India some confidence to cut the interest rates in their next meeting in October. But then in September, we will have the US Fed deciding on their policy rates. So that's also something India will watch out for. If the Fed does cut interest rate, then again, the RBI in India may be tempted to cut rates to prevent too many capital flows coming into India. So it doesn't seem like RBI will have a problem of inflation going forward, but we have to be watchful and watch the data.
Every morning we talk about bilateral trade agreements and relationships between countries and the UAE. I don't think there's a longer and more historical one than the Indian connection with the UAE. And that seems to be as strong as ever. We got the latest numbers out from the Dubai Chamber of Commerce just a few weeks ago. First half of this year, Indian businesses topping the list of new companies setting up businesses here in Dubai. Trade and investment links are key between the two countries. Are they as strong as ever?
Indeed. As we all know, India and UAE have had historical ties in terms of trade and more recently investments. UAE is India's second largest trade partner right now with annual trade value of around $83.6 billion. Investment, as you mentioned, is also very strong. So India receives about $3 to $4 billion of investments from UAE every year. And now it's heartening to know that it's not just a one-way street, but as you pointed out, Indian businesses are also investing in UAE. So there are a lot of opportunities of cooperation and collaboration, ranging across sectors like education, healthcare, construction, financial services, and technology. So I'm extremely bullish, and you would know that the Indian government and the UAE have signed a comprehensive economic partnership 2 years back. And last year, India and UAE also agreed to trade in dirhams and in rupees. So these are going to help promote investments and trade going forward.
Well, Professor Sensam, we can't thank you enough for joining us live from India this morning, especially on a day of celebrations as well to mark 78th Independence Day. I'm sure many out there will be celebrating in sync as well. Professor Rudra Sensama is the Professor of Economics at the Indian Institute of Management down in Kerala as well, joining us live this morning. And again, from all the team here at the Business Breakfast and Dubai Eye 103.8 on the occasion of the 78th Independence Day of India. Happy Independence Day.
The latest headlines and the biggest stories from here at home and around the globe.
The ARN News Centre.